All right. So let's start with our day 2, right? So if you remember where we left. So we left on BI terminologies. We started with ETL and in-memory analytics. Prior to that, a quick refresher, right? So we started with what is BI and the process of business intelligence, different methods or expectations from a BI person and what typically a BI person does, data mining, reporting, performance metrics and benchmarking, descriptive analytics, querying, statistical analysis, data visualization, visual analysis, and data preparation. Landscape change from traditional to modern BI, Magic Quadrant for analytics and business intelligence platforms, and where Qlik stands in this. Now, after that, we looked at some of the parameters on which a tool is assessed by Gartner. And the reason was it to understand that any tool, any BI tool is not just a tool for visualization. It has many more aspects of it, which make it great tool. Now, that's where we ended up on BI terminology. So we started with ETL and in-memory analytics. Now let's look at some of the other BI terms and terminologies so that you are familiar with these and we can talk in the same language. So for today, the first one is key performance indicator, which is KPI as well. So any business has a business metric which it tracks, which is typically called KPI, right? Now, as an employee, our KPI might be what is the percentage of utilization, right? In a day, how many hours you are working on a particular project or a particular thing from which is given by your company, that is utilization, that is your KPI, right? Similarly, every business has its own KPIs. For example, let's say if you talk about a business in hospitality, right? They will have, and when I say hospitality, let's say there is a dashboard from a hotel company. What will be some of the KPIs of hotel company? Anyone?
Yearly turnover.
Okay, yearly turnover, fair. What
How many
else?
persons are accessing the hotel rooms?
Right. The room occupancy, right? How
Mm.
many percentage room occupancy? Okay. What else?
Customer satisfaction.
Okay. Customer satisfaction, which is
Food re-
basically maybe, they
food
have some NPS score or something. Okay.
food reviews about room specification.
Okay. Food reviews, fine. Now, food reviews is something which is maybe, kind of difficult to track because it's a text review. But if there is a score, then it is easier to track. So if you're saying food review score, that is easy to track, right? There could be a lot of KPIs towards finance, right? Yearly turnover, or maybe the profitability, or maybe the cost, right? Similarly, there might be a lot of KPIs on the room side, like what is the room occupancy, number of room vacant, number of room with faults, number of rooms with XYZ things, right? Similarly, a lot of KPIs on the customer's side of things, like customer satisfaction, right? What
Yes.
is the customer feedback? What is the customer satisfaction score? What is the food review score from customer? Okay, so there could be a lot of KPIs in different parts of the hotel industry, or just for one hotel, they have different KPIs at different parts of it. Similarly, some KPIs towards kitchen, some KPI towards the supply chain also. So that's what is KPI. Now, out of 50 KPIs, right? Let's say we have 50 hospitality KPIs. You can show whatever you want, but you need to show the best 5 KPIs which should be tracked by business. That's where you need to evaluate the factors which make it those KPIs very crucial for the organizational success, right? If I have a hotel industry, I might be interested just on my bottom line. I might be just interested on my financial KPIs. Ultimately, everything goes behind, everything is running at the bottom, which is like the room turnover, the room occupancy, the food review and everything. But it all adds up to how my finance is looking. And I am from executive team. I just need to see my finance. So you give those 5 KPIs. Similarly, if there is a team who is looking at the operational side of hotel, they would want to look at what is the hotel occupancy, room faults, XYZ things. You will give them different kind of KPIs. But what is KPI? KPI is a business metric used to evaluate factors that are crucial to organization success. KPI different per organization. Every organization, every business has different KPIs. A hospitality business will have different KPIs compared to a retail industry or compared to a pharma industry. Every industry has different KPIs to track. Now, whenever you build a dashboard, typically people will ask, what are the KPIs it is tracking? So you should know what are the KPIs your dashboard is tracking. Now that make us to move to next BI term, which is dashboard. Now dashboard is nothing but it's a view which provides at a glance all the analysis and the historical trends and the key performance indicators. Now, for example, right, on my screen, let's say this is your screen, right? So this is your screen. Now you have one chart in every screen. That will not make sense, right? You want to bring best of your charts in the screen in whatever layout you want. Let's say you are putting 4 different charts. This will call dashboard, right? So dashboard will have multiple graphical representations coming together, which can give all the key information at a glance. Okay, that is dashboard. Now, dashboard breaks down into multiple things. A dashboard will have multiple charts coming together, and at times those charts are called sheets as well. But a dashboard is a combination of charts, and having all the key information at a glance is called dashboard. For example, when you are driving in a car, typically your front part of the car where you are sitting, and that is called dashboard, right? Why? Because you have all the important information showing up there. You have your odometer, you have your speedometer, you have your RPM meter, fuel gauge, and XYZ things, right? Everything important which you need when you are driving a car is in front of you. That is why it is called dashboard. Similarly, in business, this term is carried forward in business also. All the key things which you want to look at for your business showing up on your screen is called dashboard. Now, a dashboard will have drill throughs and drill downs. Okay, might be a new concept for few of you. So be focused. Drill through and drill down are a dashboard will have. Now, what is drill through and drill down? Let's first discuss drill down. So drill down refers to moving from a high level to a detailed level, right? For example, you have a chart, which is a bar chart. Okay, it's a bar chart. And on x-axis, let's say you have a company. Okay, company 1, company 2, and company 3. Now you see that company 3 is not doing good in terms of revenue. You want to drill down into this, and you want to see what are the different departments in company 3 and how those departments are doing against each other. You come and click on this bar. It drills down you to the next level where you have a similar bar chart. It's just that now your dimension is changed to department. Now you have department 1, 2, 3. Further, you want to see, okay, in this department, which employee is bringing more revenue? Another drill down. You click on the first bar, you get into third view, which is basically your employee view, employee level view. So what you are doing, you started your analysis at a company level, and you are drilling down to the employee level. Okay, that is what is drill down. In any dashboard, you will find multiple drill downs, or you will typically at times you call it double clicks also. So every dashboard will have drill downs, and which are needed when you have typically a hierarchy to use. When you have a hierarchy, for example, company, department, employee, you will use drill downs to allow user to get at the bottom of the hierarchy, right? Now, similarly, there is something called drill through. Drill through refers to moving from one chart to another supporting chart on click. Now, how drill through works, okay? Now, let's say you have a bar chart here, which is again same. Dollar is revenue. You have company 1, 2, 3, okay? Now, for company 1, you want to show from this chart, you want to drill through to another chart, which is basically your profit and cost chart, okay, for company 1. So that is where you will drill through to another chart, or you have a scatter plot to show some relationship. So you move from one chart to another chart on click. You are drilling through the charts, okay? That is called drill through. So drill
Sandeep,
down,
I
yes,
have a doubt.
yes.
In drill down also, we have clicked on the bar chart and we have moved to another chart, right?
No, in drill down, typically you don't move to another chart. The way it works is that you are just changing the dimension. Your chart is still a bar chart.
Okay.
You are just changing the dimension from company to department to employee.
Okay.
Okay.
So here also from company 1, we are changing the.
We are going to change the measure itself. So we have a company. Earlier we had company 1, and we have revenue. Okay. Now we are going to change it to company 1, profit and cost. Okay.
Okay.
In this example, I have same bar chart, but now let's say I have a supporting chart which is going to support a company has multiple products. Okay. And then you have a revenue and cost. It's a separate chart itself, right? It's a scatter plot. So you're going to say that there is a drill through on this chart which will support this particular analysis, and it on click you will be moved to the another chart.
Okay, understood. Thanks.
Okay. Now there is another term which is used in BI, which is executive dashboard. Okay. Lot of people will talk about it. What is, can we make one first screen as executive dashboard? Now, executive dashboard is typically a dashboard which is at a very high level. Okay. It is not at a very detailed level. It will just give you the big picture of the entire organization from finance and operation to sales and marketing. Now, a finance team can have their own dashboard. Operations team can have their own dashboard. Sales and marketing team can have their own dashboards. But executive dashboard is going to pull key performance indicators from finance, operations, sales, and marketing and create one dashboard out of it. So let's say you get 4 charts in executive dashboard. Those 4 charts, one is coming from your finance KPI, one is coming from your operations, one is from sales and marketing. It's very high level. It doesn't go into the details, but you have drill through. For example, when you are in finance KPI, you click on this, it opens a new dashboard for you, which is basically completely focused on finance. If someone is interested in details. Similarly, drill through from this will take you to another dashboard, which is for operations. Okay. So executive dashboard is a dashboard which is at a very high level, gives the big picture of the entire organization. Now we are saying entire organization here. It could be give big picture of just one department, finance. Just the very high level KPIs of finance will be also called executive dashboard of finance, right? Any doubt, any question on this slide? Okay. If all of us are good, let's move to few more BI terms, because it is important that you know these BI terms. These are very basic ones which are used in BI world. Data model. So data model defines how your data is structured, related, and standardized for the purpose of extracting meaningful insights. In Qliksense, you can utilize multiple data models to ensure all relevant data is included. Now, how a data model typically looks like, let's look at that, okay? So typically in Qliksense, you can create a data model something like this, okay? So you have your patient details here, health service calendar, admission method, discharge method, gender, specialty, resource group, and resources. So basically how you join multiple tables together is called data model, right? If you come from data warehousing background, you know that there is something called star and snowflake schema, right? Now, typically in Qlik also, you will follow similar approach. You will follow similar approach. Either you go with star or you go with snowflake schema. And whatever schema you choose, that will define your data model. So that's how your data model will look like, whatever schema which you have used. But you have capability in Qlik to build your data models. Okay. Dimension. I think most of you would already know what is dimension. So dimension determine how the data in a visualization is grouped. How the data in a visualization is grouped is called dimension. Dimension value often refer to time, place, or category. Commonly used dimensions are department, product, place, month, week, and year. Okay. Now, a quick question for all of you. All right. Now, let's say you have this bar chart and you have something called maybe a company on x-axis. Okay. That is 1, 2, 3. Now, what is dimension in this chart?
Company.
Company dollar.
Dollar is measured.
Just the dimension. Company is the dimension here. Okay. So dimension determine how data in a visualization is grouped. How data is grouped in this view. It is grouped by company, right? If you write a simple SQL, what you will write, right? Select company, comma, sum of probably let's say sales, right? From table X, group by company, right? Group by company. So that's what is dimension on which you are grouping your data in any visualization. You should be very clear about dimension and measure, because this is like a core of BI. Whenever you are working with it, you should know what is dimension, what is my measure, because some chart just take dimensions as input in x-axis. They will not take any measure, because that's where you are going to group your data. So in this example, company is our dimension, because on company data is grouped. What is measure?
Amount is measured.
Come again?
Amount is.
Amount, right? All of you agree with that? If you have any doubt, please chime in. because some of you might be at advanced level, some of you might be at a beginner level, right? So if you feel that, it is not still clear to you, chime in, we can discuss. Okay, so I consider all of you are clear with what is dimension and what is measure. Okay, so measure is a calculated numerical value, It can be sum, count, average, percentage, or any other aggregation function. Measures are the result of some sort of calculation, often aggregation such as sum, count, or average. It can be max, it can be min also. Any kind of aggregation, consider it as a measure. Okay. When dimensions and measures are combined in a visualization, that's when it is possible to see the results. Okay. For example, how many bikes of a certain category were sold in a certain area during a certain period of time. Now let's take one more example. You have a line chart here. Okay. This is your month 1, month 2, 3, 4. And this is the line. And this is here you have number of customers. Now, what is measure and what is a dimension in this chart? People who have not spoken so far, what is the measure and what is dimension?
Cost is measure and month is dimension.
Cost is measure and month is dimension, right? Okay. All of you understand dimension is on which you are going to group your data, and typically it's a categorical variable. It has some sort of categorical data. Measure is a variable on which you will apply aggregation, some max, min, count kind of aggregations, and usually it's a numerical data. Okay. Your typical dimension is a categorical data, and your measure is typically a numerical data. All right. There is something called dimension table. Anyone wants to chime in what is a dimension table?
It's derived from the fact table. So in the fact table, it contains the overall view. So say example, if we take the sales means it's just have the sales ID, but what the exact product, that particular thing is there in our dimension
Perfect.
table.
Perfect. You summarized it very well. Okay. So let's say this is your fact table and this is your dimension table. There is a customer ID here, or there is a product ID here, right? You will just have ID here. Now, who is that customer? What are the other features of that customer will be present in the dimension table? For example, you will have ID, you will have name, age, address, and other things related to that customer. All of that will be in the dimension table. Similarly, the example you gave for the product, you will have a dimension table here, which is like product ID, product name, or maybe description, and then other details of the product, right? So the dimension table is the table which is companion to a fact table and contains descriptive fields that are traditionally textual. Okay. So dimension tables are related to fact table, which contain measure through the use of keys. So whenever you are if you are pulling any dimension in a chart, typically it will come from a dimension table. Normally it will come from dimension table, right? Because you cannot have a chart which is like product ID and sales. People might not be able to understand, right? You have to give product name and sales. So normally when you're pulling a dimension, it comes from dimension table, and it is normally a categorical feature, whereas measure normally come from your fact table, and it is normally a numerical feature. Okay. So fact table consists of measurements, metrics, or fact of a business process. They are located at the center of star or snowflake schema surrounded by dimension tables. Fact table provide additive values that act as independent variables by which dimensional attributes are analyzed, right? So fact table and measures goes together. Dimension and dimension tables goes together. Okay, so whenever you are building a chart, think about it. Is it a dimension? Yes. Do you think it will come from dimension table? Yes. Let's make a bar chart out of it. On the bar chart, x-axis will always be a dimension. Y-axis will always be a measure. There is no other way around. Similarly, if you're building a line chart, your x-axis will be a dimension, your y-axis will be a measure. There is no other way around. You cannot build bar or line or pie chart, the basic charts, in any other way. This is how you have to build it. All right. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, great. Let's move to our next topic for today. So before we get to the dashboard and before we get to the technical aspects of our training, it is very important for us to understand what is the project life cycle of any BI project, because every project has its own life cycle, as we had discussed, right? Now for BI project, typically a request comes from business. Okay, a request comes from business, and let's take, you know, HR department as example, because all of us are familiar with HR and we might have dealt with them, right? Now, let's say you are part of HR team and you are a BA developer in HR team. Now, there is a request from HR leadership saying that, you know, we don't have visibility to our employee base. Can you build a dashboard to provide visibility to us? A simple business request, okay? They might not know what they need. They might just say, can you build a dashboard which can give me visibility into my employee base, right? That is your business request, and the objective is to give visibility to the employee base, right? Now, the step you take immediately next is, obviously, you need to get to the right data sets, right? You will reach out to the data team to understand where the data is kept, where it is located. You do the data gathering, you do the data manipulation, where you bring multiple data sets together, you perform analytics, you build the dashboard. Once it is built, you demo it to the end users. And if they are comfortable with the dashboard, they approve, you publish that dashboard to the server where everyone can access it. You provide access to the right user, and that's where the business users will come and access it. Now let's do double click, or let's drill down to this entire life cycle. Okay. Now, objective definition. What do you mean by objective definition? You understand the domain. Now, in this case, let's say your domain is HR. Understand the audience. Your audience will be HR leadership. You ask probing questions. User might not have idea, but still you ask probing questions as part of objective. What kind of KPIs are needed? Obviously, number of employees is a very basic KPI, right? But retention KPI is needed or not? Do we need workforce movement KPIs or any specific KPI which is being currently tracked in Excel? Do we need that in the dashboard? So you need to ask questions as part of objective definition. You need to ask, what is the success criteria in the business? So let's say if you are HR leadership, what is your success criteria to keep retention low? What is that number? Maybe, 90% retention. That is a success criteria. Or maybe in a year, headcount should be 20% more than what we have right now. That's a success criteria, right? So you need to understand what is the success criteria for the business, ask probing questions to understand more about the business, understand the audience of the dashboard, understand the domain. Now, it is important for you to understand the audience because a dashboard built for analyst will be different from a dashboard built for a senior manager. All of you agree with that?
Yeah.
Right? And the reason is, let's say you are a HR analyst, you might need a dashboard just to pull data and build your own something in Excel or in PPT, right? Whereas if you are a senior manager in HR, you just need analysis. You just need the final key KPIs. You are not going to download that data and use it, right? So you need to understand the audience. The very first question should be, who is the audience of the dashboard? So when you go back, objective definition is where you need to focus more, asking questions, understanding the audience, asking what is the success criteria of the business before even you start any work. Okay, that is your objective definition. Once your objective is clear, you know what is the objective, The next step is you start locating the data, right? That's what is data gathering. So you start locating the data. Some data might be internal, some data might be external. So you need to understand where the data is. Automatically, the next step is how to connect to that data, right? From Qliksense, how do you connect to that data? So Qliksense has connectivity with Excel, CSV, MySQL, SQL, Redshift. Any database you talk about, they typically have connectors with that database. And those connectors are available free of cost for most of the databases. But if you go for some of the custom ones, in case you want a Salesforce connector, that might be a paid connector. But for very regular databases, the connectors are free, right? So you need to know how to connect to that data. And is that data contain any personal identifiable information? Is there any PII involved where you should not pull that data? For example, if some of the employee personal information, you might not want to pull that in your dashboard because it should not be visible to everyone, right? So you should know if there is a PII information, personal identifiable information, we don't want to pull that in our dashboard. What are some of the known issues in the data? Ask questions that are there any known issues in the data which might create bad data analysis, which might give you wrong output in your dashboard, right? So try to find that. And then once you have all of this, you load that your data and build data model to support data analytics. So let's say you got data from 5 different systems, okay? There are 5 different systems. One is SQL, another one is probably Oracle, and third one is AWS Redshift. This is your Qliksense dashboard. This is your Qliksense app. What you will do, you will pull data from all different sources into Qliksense. And the next step is join or manipulate the data, right? You might want to pull some information from some table, from table SQL, pulled from SQL, some information from a table pulled in Oracle, some information from table pulled from Redshift, and you want to build a data model, right? Because that is important. Data model is the one on which your entire dashboard will be built on. So your dashboard will be built on a data model which you will create. Okay. So you have to be sure that what table should be where and where, what is fact, what is dimension. And you should know that how to build the data model, right? It's simple in Qliksense. So you build a data model by loading multiple data coming from different sources, doing data manipulation. Once your data model is built, you perform analytics. Now the data model work is these 2 steps, right? Data gathering, data manipulation. So we've done objective definition, data gathering, data manipulation. Now the next one is perform analytics. As I said, user might not have idea what they want. And if user doesn't have idea, you will have to do analytics to build certain charts to see if it is making sense or it is adding value based on the things you heard during the objective definition phase. For example, if user said that, in their manual Excel, they track retention, they track the number of layers at a manager level, they track number of reportees to each person, they track headcount, they track financials in HR report. All of that user said, now you need to do analytics, you need to create your charts tackling each problem at a time, right? So you will, let's say you will create one chart for number of employees by day, week, and month. You will create one chart, tenure of employee by department. Another one you will create, salary of employee by department. You will create gender ratio. You will create geo chart where that employee is located on the map. Similarly, you create so many different charts. For a dashboard, typically a dashboard can have 10 to 20 to maybe 50 charts based on what kind of dashboard it is. If it is executive dashboard, you just keep very less number of charts. However, if it is a monitoring or a sales analysis dashboard, you might have lot many charts. So let's say you do your analytics and you come up with 50 different charts. Now, out of those 50, how do you drill down and how do you narrow down and keep 10 charts? Because you cannot have 50 charts in a dashboard, right? People might be just get confused with so many charts and overwhelmed with the information. So now if you have to keep 10 charts, you need to consult with business again to make sure that, you think these 10 charts you need is this correct? Is it covering all the information which you need? And that's where you present your dashboard to business and you share your key insights. So you have built a you have built 50 charts. Out of that, you feel these 10 charts are needed. You keep those 10 charts in your dashboard, move everything else to the appendix sheets. Now, with then 10 charts, you present those 10 dashboard with 10 charts to the business, and you share your key insights. Why do you think this chart is better than other chart? What this chart is telling? It is very important as part of the BI process is that you know why you are choosing a particular chart. You should know why this chart you have chosen and what information this chart is giving. Okay, so you should be able to share your key insights. That is part of the storytelling. Now, if business approves it, they say that yes, leadership says that yes, this dashboard covers everything what I need. It is approved. Let's publish it. Now, what do you understand from publish it? Publish is basically you move that dashboard from your local environment to the server where everyone can access it. Now, in HR leadership, there are 10 people who need access. You cannot have dashboard on your system and give access to those 10 people. You need a server, right? That's where server is where you host your dashboard. So you will publish your dashboard or move your dashboard to server, and you will give access to those 10 people. There are different ways to give access, which we will talk later, but you will give access to those 10 users, and you will schedule a refresh frequency for your dashboard because every dashboard needs recent data. Every dashboard needs a latest data, right? And the way to get to the recent data is to refresh your dashboard. Now, you don't want to do it every time. You want to utilize some of the features of the server, Qliksense server, which can do it for you. So you set up your scheduled refresh frequency and your dashboard gets refreshed based on your setup refresh frequency. It could be weekly, it could be monthly, or it could be bi-monthly, whatever business thinks is the right frequency. Okay. So you provide appropriate access, you set up the refresh frequency, and you publish your dashboard on server. But if you think your job is done by end of this, not really. Next step is you need to see who is using dashboard, right? Track the usage of the dashboard. Let's say you have published the dashboard, but when you see usage, nobody is using it. There could be an issue, right? People are not able to access it, or people are not aware of it. You need to advertise your dashboard. You need to tell business it is present on server with this refresh frequency, XYZ things, or you might have to send that dashboard in email also. So dashboard Qliksense has a facility where it can send reports out to the users in email. You might have to set up that. And you might have to work on enhancements. You had published your dashboard with 10 charts. It is possible that when 10 different business people looked at those 10 charts, they think that some of the charts are not correct, or they need more charts. You started with 10, now they need 15. You want to add 5 more. So again, same process will follow, right? Again, you try to understand what are these charts. Do I already have data for those charts? If yes, I have the data in the data model. I can directly pull chart. If I don't have that data in my data model, I need to bring that data. I need to load that data into my Qliksense app, create chart, publish that updated dashboard, provide access, which is, I think, already sorted out in this case because they already have access, and then publish the dashboard again, inform that, some of the enhancements are already completed and published. So this is like a complete life cycle of a BI project. And in any project, you will have to follow this. Any tool, you have to follow this. You are using Power BI, you are using Tableau, or you are using Qliksense or any other BI tool. This is how you follow it. Even if you are using Cognos, typically this is what you follow as part of the process. Any question?
No.
All right. So this is an iterative process. Okay. Like in any project, this is also an iterative process in BI, where whatever you publish, expect there might be some issues in that. Some calculations are incorrect, or some dimensions are incorrect, or some additional filters are needed in the dashboard. Expect that change. And if when that change comes, you have to follow the same process again and publish the report again. So keep this in your mind. If you are new to BI, keep this in your mind that this is how the entire process will work. Whatever you are doing on your local system has to go to the business, has to go to the end users of the dashboard, the consumers of the dashboard. And that is where you need to publish your local work to the server where people can come and access it. When they are accessing it, you need to give access to them. Otherwise, they cannot access. You should know if they have access to a particular stream or a group where you can publish, and they can access it. Okay. So if you are coming new to the BI, this is important. You understand the project life cycle. Otherwise, you will be blind what you are doing. What is the next step of it? You might be working on your dashboard, but what is next? How do I publish? You have just received a new request. Let's build a dashboard on bookings, on customer bookings. You don't know what to do. What is the next step of it? What is the next step of it, right? It is important you understand the entire workflow or the entire life cycle of it. All right, with that, we will take 5 minutes break and we will start back around 11:32.
Okay.
Okay. All are back.
Yes.
Okay. How about Satyaraj and
Hi, sir. Hi.
Satyaraj, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, perfect. And Sinthanakyan? Yeah, perfect. All right. Sorry, I might have, spelled it wrong. All right. So now time to move towards Qliksense, right? We have talked more about business intelligence and the project life cycle. Now let's slowly move towards Qliksense and start understanding what is Qliksense and how it works, right? Now there are three fundamental forces that impacted the use of BI and analytics. And anyone can guess because we are from technology background. We know that one is explosion of data and content. There is lots and lots of data which gets generated every day. Everyone is connected through internet is cheap, everyone is generating data, and then came the social media and everything. So now data is obviously converted from regular data to big data, right? There is an explosion of data and there is a petabyte scale data which is being generated, typically called big data. Then there is cloud also where you can store, and there is on premises where you can store. So there are different flavors of data. There are different ways data is getting generated. There is explosion in computing power. Earlier, if you remember, we used to have 1 GB, 2 GB RAM. Now, in your laptops itself, the laptop, personal use laptops typically starts somewhere around 16 GB RAM. People are buying easily 16 GB RAM, right? People are buying 1 TB hard disk. So there is an explosion of computing power. If you look at the Intel processors, those are now 12th generation processors, right? With clocking very good speed. So there is an explosion of computing power, explosion of data, and rise of information activist. Now, everyone wants to talk in terms of data, right? Any decision you want to take, you want some kind of data to back that decision, right? Even if it is your personal finance, if you want to commit to something, you want some historical data to look at how the returns were in past. Should I invest and start in this or not, right? So that's where you need data, and there is a rise of information activist, or people are more intellectual these days, right? And that's the reason the BI and analytics is growing every day. Every day there is a new release from some or other BI tool. Every day there is a new BI tool coming into picture. Every day some kind of new charts is coming in, right? So that's where there is a fundamental three forces which has impacted the use of BI and analytics: data, explosion in computing power, information activist, or information tech savvy people. Okay. Now, all of this is moving towards our tool, which is Qliksense, right? So what is Qliksense? Qliksense is a Qlik's next generation application for self-service oriented analytics. Now, if you see, Qliksense is Qlik's next generation. So Qlik, it is a company, and Qliksense is one product. Similarly, they have View, which is typically called Qlik View. There is QlikBot, Qlik Insight Advisor, Qlik Catalog. There are so many different products from Qlik, which we will talk about because it is important you understand the overall picture. Now, Qliksense is a next generation application for self-service oriented analytics, offering unique and powerful data visualization, exploration, and collaboration capabilities for all type of users. So you can create data visualizations, you can do exploration, collaborate with other users as well. And it is, because it is part of Qlik, it is part of a bigger umbrella and has a governed framework, right? Now, Now, the next thing is, let's look at one of the Qliksense dashboard. Okay, let's see how it looks. Now, for that, let me just ping a link, and I want all of you to open that link. And are you able to copy paste from Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay. If not, then I can ping same thing in the WhatsApp group chat also. So if you can access that link, let me know if you have opened that link.
Yes.
Okay. So this is Qliksense demo server, and which is freely available for everyone. Anyone can access it. And there are multiple apps here. Okay. There is consumer sales app, executive dashboard, happiness, help desk management, human capital management, and others. We will look at the interface and other things of Qliksense also, but I wanted to give you a look and feel of the dashboard. So you can click on any of the app. I am clicking on human capital management. Okay. And I will look at the dashboard. So this is how typically a Qliksense dashboard looks like. Okay. There are KPIs, there are charts, bar charts, line charts, and other things. And there is a map as well. Now we will come back to it in some time, but keep this with you, keep it open. And if you want to look at other apps also, feel free to do that, just to get understanding of how a typical app looks like, how a typical Qliksense app looks like. Okay. Let's go back. Let's go back and let's see how the evolution happened for Qliksense, how it evolved. So it was founded in 1993, and then further in somewhere around 1995, QlikView was launched. There was a tool called Qlik, which renamed QlikView, and it was launched in 1995. From 1995 to 2014, Qlik had just one tool, which was QlikView. Qlik was heavily invested in QlikView, and then it started expanding. It acquired another tool called Expressor, and then it launched Qliksense in 2014. From 2014 till date, there are so many Qliksense upgrades has happened. There are different versions of Qliksense which are coming. They started with Qliksense 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there are multiple Qliksense versions so far. Every version is better than the earlier, and with some added enhancements. Now, every 15 days, they release some small or major enhancement or some service release. So it is possible that, when we are doing this training, we might be working on a specific Qliksense version, but if you refer this training after a few months, there might be few additional things in your Qliksense app. There might be new additional enhancements, or there might be few things which are removed from the app. So it keeps on changing. It keeps on evolving. So you can imagine it is being evolving from last 8 to 9 years. It's a stable tool. Okay. Now, its QlikView is still on. So this tool, which they launched in 1995, is still on. They have a Qliksense tool, which is another tool. They have so many other offerings also. In 2019, they released Qlik Cloud. Now, Qlik Cloud is their SaaS offering where you can log in into a URL, online URL, and you get access to the Qlik. You don't have to host anything on your server. Everything is managed by Qlik. So this product is evolving. This product is improving as we talk. Now, what are different flavors of Qlik? Let's look at that. So there is cloud platform, there is client managed platform, and there is client managed data integration. Okay. So cloud platform has something called Qlik Cloud, Qliksense SaaS, and then there are some data services also, which is for application automation. We will be focusing on Qliksense. That's why I have highlighted Qliksense here and Qliksense here. Now, this is in cloud. This is a SaaS offering, software as a service, right? You don't have to manage any of the server or install anything on your system. You can directly log in into cloud and do the development. There is another version of it, which is client managed. It is where you get .exe file, you install on your system, and you work on that file, right? You work on your system. You are using your system resources, the RAM, the memory, everything you use on your system using your system resources, you manage that. It's a client managed version. Then there is N printing, which is for reporting. When I said that, you can send customized reports on a given day time with specific formatting, that is what is done by Qlik and printing. There are connectors, Qlik connectors to connect with different data sources. There is Qlik Geo Analytics, which is more focused on geo maps, where you have very complex maps with multiple layers which you can build. There is Insight Bot, which is basically a chat bot on your Qliksense dashboard or your Qlik application where you can chat and get your responses. For example, I chat with the dashboard saying, what is my sales? And it gave me a number, $200, just a number I'm making. But that's another offering from Insight Bot. There is alerting, there is ClickView. ClickView is the one from where Qliksense is evolved, but ClickView is still on. A lot of companies, there are so many organizations who are still using ClickView because it's one of the great tool. Now, there is some few features on the data integration side, that is Replicate, Compose, Enterprise Data Manager, Compose for Data Lake, Compose for Data Warehouse, and data cataloging. So Qlik is not just on the Qliksense. There are so many other offerings from Qlik. There are things on the data integration side, right? There are things on the application automation side, and then there are a bunch of things which are supported beyond Qliksense for data analytics. Okay. Any question here? So you have a SaaS offering, you have on-premise offering, you have data integration applications. So it brings an overall suite of things. It's not just one tool. There are some BI tools which are just the tools. It doesn't have a lot of additional things to support it or a framework around it, but this one has a framework around it. Okay. Let's move to our second one. So getting deep into the Qliksense. Okay, so Qliksense is very first thing it gives you is self-service visualization and exploration. It has a associative exploration. When I say associative exploration, your data model is connected. You can do analysis from any side of things, and we will look at it in today's practical itself. Smart visualization and analytics. It has visualization which are basic, but then it has visualization which are advanced as well. It has Sankey chart, it has the word cloud, all the advanced visualizations it has. It allow you to integrate your Qliksense dashboard with websites also. So smart visualization, user driven creation, where as a user you can create and you get a lot of suggestions and recommendations from Qliksense itself, that this particular data set you should put a bar chart on it, this particular data set you should put a line chart on it. So you get a lot of user driven creations and recommendations. It is easy to share your knowledge and insights with others, because once you have built your application, you will publish it on the server where everyone can access and collaborate. There is a data storytelling and reporting, so you can create your story. So you can create your story and share it with other in a guided analytics way. You can access it anytime, anywhere on mobile or on your iPad if once you have built. Now beyond it, it provides you customization and extension. So let's say you feel that certain things, certain options you needed are not in the chart. You can always build your own chart in Qliksense. When I say you can build your own chart, you can build your own bar chart as a feature which has different colors, which has a additional on hover facility, which has a threshold or any other thing. So you can have your custom charts beyond what Qlik has offered. You can build your own charts, which are typically called extensions. So you can build extensions, and extensions building will come as the last part of our training. It allows you to data preparation and integration. You can interact with multiple data sources, integrate and prepare. It gives you enterprise level governance and scalability. So the tool itself is scalable. So currently, if you are using it for 5 users, tomorrow you have 200 users. Qlik will support those 200 users with your dashboard. It's just that you might have to increase your compute power of the system or few other things, but the tool supports scalability. Now let's start looking into the very first concept of Qlik, which is associative. Now, when we say associative, what is associative? So what I am doing, I'm going back to our application, the human capital management. I hope all of you have it open. All of you have it open?
Yes, got it.
Okay, make sure you are following my instructions, because it is not a physical training where I'm sitting with you and training. It's an online training, but you need to follow the instructions to get maximum out of it. Okay, so if you have, all of you have it open, let's look at the very first screen, which is dashboard. So I'm on dashboard screen. I hope all of you are on dashboard screen. Let's go to selections. On the right side, right top, you will see an option of selections. Okay, now in selection, let's say you have age group, country, course type, department, development program. Now I will select probably Australia. Okay, as soon as I clicked on Australia, you will see that in course, only 3 things are showing up in white, other things are in gray. What do you understand from this?
Only values are available for those fields.
Yes, you are right. So green, white, and gray. Okay, so green is something which you selected, right? I selected Australia. Now white is telling that for Australia, only 3 courses are showing up. Only 3 courses are applicable. You didn't have to put any SQL query or anything to find out in Australia which courses are there. It is showing you white, the relevant data which can be explored beyond what you have selected. Gray, not related. So gray is not related. Australia doesn't have anything in advanced buyer training, advanced sales training, corporate orientation. Everything gray is not applicable for Australia. Australia doesn't have anything to do with these. This is what is associative engine of Qlik, where you select one thing, your entire data model will be filtered on that particular thing. And it will show you what is relevant, what is irrelevant for you, right? Maybe when you started this analysis, you wanted to do something related to country, but then you see, okay, for Australia, I don't have any finance, HR, and operations department. Okay, this is a new revelation for me. I didn't know that there is no department of finance, HR, and operations in Australia. That's another angle of analysis I need to do. Similarly, on the age group, in Australia, I see it starts from 23 and goes to 44. So I don't have anyone at a senior position in Australia as part of human capital management when I'm looking at this dashboard, right? It's a new thing for me. I wasn't aware. So you see, just with one click, you can see a lot of additional information beyond what you wanted to do, right? That is the associative engine of Qliksense. Now, let's go back here. Let's go back to our content. So in query-based tools, you can just go in one direction when you are doing analysis, right? You don't have visibility to other sides of it. Now, for example, when I'm selecting a country, Australia, I can just go into that dimension further. I don't know for Australia what are the connected departments, what is the age of those departments. It's not visible to me, right? Because I'm going down in one direction. However, when you use Qlik's associative engine, all the connected dots will show up, right? All the connected dots will light up in the white color. So you know that, okay, this is what is applicable for my selection. This is what is not applicable for my selection. So in the query-based tool, you have partial subset of data. In Qlik Associative Engine, you have all your data available for your analysis. You can click anywhere you can start your analysis from any dimension as long as your data model is connected. If you have data islands in your data model, let's say you have one table sitting here, all these dots are tables, okay? If you have one table sitting here, it will not obviously connect with your data model and you cannot flow through that dot because it is not connected. You select anything in this will have no impact here. But if your data model is connected, all your tables are connected with each other, your selections flow through the entire data model. It is not limited to one side of the data model. It is complete data model is all your data. You explore without boundaries. You explore based on your speed of thought, whatever you want to explore, and you get unexpected insights, things which you are not aware of, you might get. Whereas in the query-based tools, you ask, wait and answer cycle, slow performance, restricted linear exploration, partial subset of data. So that is the difference of Qlik associative engine, and you need to understand this very, very early in the stage. In the associative difference, you have all your data, you combine many data sources together to build your data model. No data is left behind because everything is connected. All your data model is connected. You can start your exploration from any side of it. Okay, if there is imperfect is perfect, even if you have nulls, you can still work through your data model. Explore without boundaries, unbounded exploration and search, power of gray. So that is where green, white and gray, you need to understand green, white and gray. Green is what you have selected, white which is applicable, gray which is not applicable for you. Okay. And speed of thought is like instant responses, anyone can analyze, massive scale. You can, so the associative engine is you can do it on a massive scale. It is not on a smaller data model. Whatever your data model size is, if your system supports it, you can do that associative exploration. Now these are some of the, some of the comments from few organizations who are using Qlik. It is easy to use and the associative engine works very well. It has smart search and things like that people have said. Okay, we will just, if all the organization which are using it are giving some of the great stories. Now let's look at the Qliksense app. Let's go back to our app now. Let's focus more on the app now. So let's start with the very basic stuff in Qliksense. All of you are with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So when you come on the Qliksense server, this is how it will look. Okay. This is basically your Qliksense server. If you see sensedemoclick.com, this is a server URL and it is open for everyone URL. This area is typically called hub. This area is typically called hub. So this entire screen is called actually hub. Hub is where you start from. This is your starting point. This is where you interact with the apps. This is where you find and explore data, and all the applications will show up on this screen. So this is typically called hub. And if you see the URL itself has it there, right? Hub, HUB. This is hub. And all these are apps. All these are different applications. Okay. All these are apps. And when you open any app from hub, for example, we are going to open human capital management. Okay, I'm opening one Qliksense app, which is human capital management. You will see a screen, which is basically your app overview. And here you will see multiple sheets. What are these? These are different sheets in your app. Okay, so if you see sheets, all right. Now, sheet is kind of an individual pager or worksheet, individual page or worksheet where you group your multiple charts together. Okay. For example, if I am building a dashboard for finance, I will make first sheet as I'll call it dashboard, where all the key informations I'm showing. And then I will have further detailed views. For example, here also, you see there is one dashboard. Then you have detailed view, employee development, demographic, women in workforce, gender sales comparison, ethnic diversity, employee performance, and employee details. Now, anyone wants to answer, why do we have employee details here?
So sort of the raw data.
Yes. So in any dashboard, you still want to give user raw data. Let's say they want to use it or do something on their own. So it is good to keep raw data as well in your dashboard so that they can download and do whatever they want. But from your perspective, you have created dashboard key to show key information. But if they want to still do any further analysis, they can download the raw data. Okay. Now, all these are sheets. Now let's start from very first sheet, which is our dashboard. Now in dashboard, there are few important things to look at when you are interacting with it, right? One is you can always move to next sheet through these options, right? For example, I want to move to next one. I'll click here. I move to employee development. I click next. I move to demography. If I don't want to go sequentially, I can just click here on the drop down and go to any one sheet. So this is how you navigate across the sheets, right? This section help you navigate across the sheets. Okay. Now, second thing is, if you want to do any selection. Right now, if you see this dashboard, it doesn't have any filters, right? It is just the charts. There is no filter on the dashboard. But let's say I want to filter data on a particular country. I want to filter data on Australia. How do I do it? Because there are no filters given on this dashboard. There is selections here, okay? I click on selections. I see all the fields here and I see country. Let's say country is not showing up. I can always type country. I select Australia. I do check mark. My selections are showing up here, right? Now, if I go back to my dashboard, it is filtered on Australia and my filter is showing up here, right? And this filter will be applicable across the app. I go to any screen, by default, the country Australia is now filtered. Are you all doing it in parallel with me, the things which I am doing?
Navdeep, can you please do the selection for the countries after clicking the Australia? What I have to?
Yeah. So you go to selections,
Okay.
country, Australia, and click on this green check mark, confirm selection. Okay. Now your Australia is selected. Now come back and click on selections again.
Oh, okay.
This is going to close the selection tool and now your Australia is selected.
Okay.
And you move to any other sheet, your selection will remain there. It will retain your selection. Okay. And
We can select multiple countries also, right?
we can select, yes, we can select multiple countries also, right? So you can just press on shift and just select whatever you want. Okay. Now I have multiple countries selected. I go to selections. I see 7 out of 10 countries are selected. All are showing up in green, the things which I have selected, right? And now based on my selection, it is showing me what else I can select. In age group 60, greater than 60, there is no one. I cannot select this. Course type, there is no one in soft skill based on my country selection. I cannot select that, right? Similarly, if I go further, there are so many other dimensions which are all filtered based on my selections. And I can do this also. I can add more, bring more fields, right? I can bring tenure. And you don't have to always do it with shift, right? You can just do it with your mouse. For example, how I'm doing it, I'm just dragging it on the selection. I'm just dragging it on the selection. It is doing the selections for me. All of you are also doing it?
Yeah.
Working fine?
Yep.
Now, we were talking about associative insights, right? See, on the right side, you are seeing example. You can generate insights. You just have to click it. It will bring insights for you. Okay, so these are some of, because when you build any dashboard, right, people ask, what are the insights? And as a BI developer, we struggle to bring insights because we are more focused on technical things. So you can just come here based on the things you see in insights on whatever measure you select. You can tell to leadership that this is what the insight is. Okay, and you can do a lot of things with the insights. We will talk about it more. Now, going back to our dashboard, there are so many selections here. Now, I don't want these selections. I'll just do either one by one or clear all selections together. And if I want to go back, I'll just click step back. It will bring my selections back. If I want to go further back, I'll just keep clicking. It is like undoing your work, right? So this entire section is your selection bar. This is where you are selecting things when you are filtering out your dashboard. There is search, smart search here also. For example, let's say I want to select Australia, right? I don't know where it is, in which field it is. I'll just type Australia. It is showing me it is in country and it is in organization. I want the country Australia filtered. I just select and the filter happened. Okay, so this one, smart search, is where you can just search with the content. If you don't know which field you should search, you can just come here, type Australia. It will show where all Australia is present. It is in country and it is in organization names. I know I want to filter it on country. I will just select country Australia. It will filter on country dimension, Australia country.
Navdeep, I have a few doubts. So once we click that Australia on the country, so then I have to try for the organization on for the Australia term. That particular field won't appear, right? Again, I need to go back and further.
So you typed Australia, you selected country. Now the next field where it will not appear on the search.
Okay.
It will, so you keep whatever is there, it will always be there. It is still showing you country and organization. Country I have selected. Organization, if I want to select, I'll click here. It will add my selection. So now I have 2 selections.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Now I
Okay.
got it.
Okay. So it is important that you understand how you interact with the dashboard, because a lot of people are more focused on just the development, but they themselves don't know how to interact with the app. Okay. So let's clear all our selections. Now, I was talking about the storytelling, right? This is where you will kind of do your storytelling. You can bring your charts here and create a story, and then either you want to speak it out or whatever, and then you can export. So we will talk about this when we do our own developments. Let's go back to the sheet. Now, let's do a quick analysis, okay? Let's see how much we understand the tool. So these are few questions we want to answer with the tool. Okay, which department in US has highest women employee ratio? Can you try to find that? Which department in US has highest women employee ratio? Where you will find it? Which department has highest women to employee ratio? That's a question. You need to find it from the dashboard.
KPI is the woman employee ratio, 6.3.
Which one?
The KPI side, like fourth KPI
Fourth KPI.
ratio. But we need to filter by country first.
Yeah, we need to filter by country, and we need to find the department which has highest woman employee ratio. Okay.
Buyer,
Engineering.
Engineering. Okay, one is saying engineering. How about
buyer,
others?
job role buyer.
Yeah, women by job role. Buyer. Okay, fine. Another one is saying buyer. And I'm saying simple woman employee ratio. Okay, I'm not considering how many women are there. It might have just 2 women and all 2 employees and all 2 are women. That is fair.
Sure.
But we just need highest woman employee ratio.
That's HR.
That is HR.
Yeah,
Okay.
40%.
Right. That is human resources, 40%. How about Sadish and others? Sintan, are you guys able to figure out?
So first I put the filter on that country.
Yes. So let's go ahead.
It's accounting.
Okay. Someone is saying accounting. So let's do it, right? The way how I did it, I will just go back to, I'll just go back to here. Okay. Simple. I will just select United States, search for United States in country, right? And it is showing me whom women employee ratio is highest in human resources, right? 40%. You might not seeing it in your because you have not sorted it. You can just double click on this. It will sort, not even double, just single click will sort it. Try sorting it. So you selected country, United States, came here, women employee ratio, sorted it, and you see HR on the top.
On the right side, we can see it from the bar chart.
Yeah, or the right, we can see it. And this is like your overall, right? It's not broken down by department. It is overall.
On the right side, woman
Okay,
percentage by
sorry.
job role. It's as human resource 40%.
Yeah, you see this also, right? This is also where you can see in table, you can see here. So that's how you do couple of filters and you reach to your selection, right? Now let's do another one. What is the starting age of my employees, and in which level we have better women participation?
Maybe starting age 21.
Okay,
At which level of woman employees participation is on management position?
on management positions. All right. All right. What about others? What are your inputs?
Starting age 21.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, starting age is 21, and that's coming
Right.
from our histogram. All right.
And by year, employee by role.
Yeah, by role. So which level we have better women participation? Let's change it. Which role has better women participation?
Buyer.
Okay.
Yeah,
What about others?
50%.
I want to hear from all of you. Are you comfortable using application?
This is from which tab? Like, can you show it once again?
Yeah.
Not able to find it.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen on the dashboard, right? So what is the starting age of employee? Simple one, right? So we can see starting age is 21. That's where we have, and then the maximum age is going towards 44. Now,
By
another
year.
one.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So the starting age is 21 and the woman percentage is top role is by year.
Buyer. Okay. And where you are seeing this buyer? In the women in workforce?
Woman percentage by job work role. Yeah, woman in the workforce chart.
Okay. So women percentage by job role, you're saying buyer. All
Yeah.
right. Buyer is 35.2
You need to
percentage.
select 21 as age.
Okay. Okay. So you're filtered on the age, and then you are saying.
Yeah, age range I choose on that first range, 22, 21 something.
Okay. Which level we have better women? Okay. Fine.
Selection.
Fine. I think the question is slightly confusing. It's based on, it's open on the interpretation. But this is where you can, by job role, you can find, if you want to do it for a particular age, then you can just select age and then come here and see the role, right? Now age, let's say I suggest select 21. How did I select? I just clicked on the dimension. I just clicked here. There are multiple ways to do selections. Now, slowly we are starting becoming more comfortable with the app, right? So I just select 21. Now what it did, it selected age 21 for me. Okay. All right. Now I go in women in workforce and I see buyer at a 50% mark. And that's why some of you are saying buyer is the top, which is fair. Okay. So you can do selections at using multiple options. You can just select in the table. You can click on the chart to select, but you need to be careful. You are selecting a dimension, right? All right. So
Yeah.
if I click on a measure in table, it's not selecting anything. If I click here, it is essentially selecting a dimension accounting in the job. If I click on this chart, right? All of you are comfortable with the interface of the application.
Yeah.
So you need to spend more time to become more comfortable with it. So that's where there are multiple apps here. So you can click on any of the app and see what kind of charts are used and what are different ways to present data. Every app has a different look and feel, right? You see, this is completely different from how we see human capital. So it depends on the developer and the wireframes, how the app is built. But it is important that you explore all the apps and get more comfortable with some of the BI look and feels. Okay, and do you think any of this app is more relevant to your business?
So mostly the last four, like human capital, sales, customer analysis.
These four, is it?
Yeah.
Telecom customer retention, this might not be relevant, right? But obviously customer retention might be there, these three, and
Sales.
Four screens.
Consumer sales.
consumer sales, okay? And travel expense management might not be very helpful here. So now let's look at consumer sales. So it's more about, if you look at the very first, right, there are, what is the margin this year versus last year, sales versus budget, which product is doing, which state is doing, how much share, which rep is doing this share, overtime margin, sales over time, budget over time, right? Now, similarly, then you will get into the more details of it. Okay. Now let's look at one more problem. Do we have pay gap by gender?
It's on the old one or
It's on the old one, on the same HR one. Do we have pay gap by gender? Is it there, pay gap, or not?
So we have
There is a pay gap, right?
Yep.
There is a gender pay gap. And the way you see
Yeah.
it is when you come to that screen, the very first chart itself will tell you there is a, if you look at the average compensation by gender, there is a gap, and that is almost like 3K salary difference on average, gender gap. And then you can see on which position, on what tenure, and in which country the age gap is more. Right? So we see that as you know, the tenure is increasing, the gap is also increasing. So if you have someone greater than 20 years, there is bigger gap. At the initial phase of the career, the pay is similar, but slowly it starts decreasing. So there is a pay gap, right? Do we have, now the last one is, do we have enough representation or diversity in our employee base? Do we have enough diversity or representation in our employee base?
Yeah.
There is, to some extent, right? Or it
Yeah,
is more
Maximum
most
focused.
of white.
on whites.
Yeah, it is more
Mm.
focused on white, which is 43.2%, and beyond that we have other races. It is there, but obviously there is a scope of improvement, and it depends where the company headquarters is and XYZ things. But there is a fair amount of representation or diversity in the employee base, right? So these are some of the questions you might get, right? These are some of the questions you want to answer from your dashboard. These are some of the questions, you know, business will have. Not if you have a, if you're building a dashboard for HR team, these kind of questions they will have, right? That what is the gender gap? How many employees I have? What is the employee ratio? How many employee I have with 5+ years of tenure? So these questions you want to answer with your dashboard. And at times, you know, you don't have any direct way to get to the answer. You might have to do some selections from one chart to another chart to build your entire story. But this is what modern BI is. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how you do your data analysis using BI, and this is how you answer your questions. Now, if you are new to BI, spend some time on dashboards, be comfortable with it. Okay. Now let's look at different offerings of Qlik and where they stack against each other. Okay. On the data side, starting from the very bottom, you have Qlik Data Market, which has some of the pre-built connectors or some of the pre-configured data sets which are already available. You can just bring them into your dashboard. You have Qlik View here, and then you have Qliksense here, which is desktop, cloud, enterprise. You have Qlik Analytics platform, which is powering your Qliksense. You have Qlik and printing, Qlik Geo Analytics, and then on services and ecosystem, you have consulting, education, support, XYZ things. But this is where majorly the analytics work happens. And then there is developer apps, where if you know fair amount of JavaScript, HTML, CSS, you can develop few charts. You can develop charts which are beyond currently with charts present in Qlik. You can integrate your Qlik charts into HTML websites. Very easy process. So all of that you can do as part of Qliksense portfolio. Okay. Now, as a Qliksense enterprise architecture, where are you? You are here. Okay. You are the one who will use the Qlik engine to build applications or visualizations using Qliksense desktop and publish it on server where users will consume it. Okay, so you have all the data sources, you pull that data, and these are some of the backend services which are being written here. Currently, let's not focus so much on this. You have your app here, you pull all the data, build it, and then publish it and give access to the users. We'll talk about it more, but right now on a very high level. Now, the very next step for us is to do Qliksense setup on our systems.